Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Parkside Cabin Rentals. The holidays are supposed to be peaceful and relaxing and calming, but they never are. You're probably still nerved up because you had people filling your house, crowd, stress. But you know what is relaxing? A stay at your very own home away from home in the Smokies. Check out ParksideCabinRentals.com to book the place of your dreams this winter. Parkside Cabin Rentals. All right, so much has been made of NIL that I wanted to get our two former players, our two former assistant coaches to weigh in on a story from The Athletic. I'm going to get through this quickly because it's going to be a short segment. They asked a number of these top players at the Under Armour All-American game that just went on. They said, what kind of offers did you get? You heard everything. There were some of these players saying, well, I was offered $3 or $4 million. Somebody else said it didn't come up. Somebody else said I got an apartment out of it. Somebody else said a few thousand. They're saying different things. But the thing that stood out to me was they said, all right, where does this rank? Where does NIL rank in terms of your decision making? And they all said second or third. To a man, it was second or third, and number one seemed to always be relationships. It's about the relationships with the coaching staff. Number two was either player development, getting me ready for the NFL, or academics/education. I'm not buying that. If somebody is offering one of these kids or their parents $1 million, I really don't think most of these 17-year-olds, I wouldn't, would sit there and go, yes, but the diploma from this school would be so much better.
Vanderbilt would be pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So my question, I'm a cynic, so I don't believe anybody on anything. Do you guys buy that NIL really ranks second or third in terms of high school recruiting, what high school recruits are looking at when they're picking?
I'll let Jay do it. Jay was just doing it. So he had the conversations with people.
I don't buy it overall. I buy it if we're looking at apples to apples. If the number that this school gave me is relatively close to the number that school gave me, then it becomes relationships. Then it becomes academics. If it is millions compared to thousands, I think whoever offered the millions, that school's academics all of a sudden look way better. Those relationships sound way better.
Yeah.
That coaching staff's ability to get me into the NFL also sounds way better. And we just looked at the transfer portal numbers. That, to me, that number has to matter if it's significantly higher than another one.
Well, you can't say relationships when you then go look at the transfer portal numbers,
Yeah,
right? Because
the
if you're saying relationships number one, but then you're leaving 6 months later and the coaching staff's still there, NIL has to be number one. I mean, this day and age, it's got to be number one for the vast majority of them.
Do you agree that it's probably smarter now that we've splashed into it, that schools will probably figure out that instead of spending this money on the high school recruits, it's better to go cherry pick guys off other teams' rosters?
Totally agree.
And to pay guys on your own roster.
I totally agree. And case in point is who's playing Georgia for the national championship game, and how did they get the players to have the team that was worthy of being on this stage? Right. And they went to the portal and they got veteran guys that were ready to play right now.
Hey, basketball-wise, go to MTSU, show them what you got, and if you do this, I'll come offer you this and come to Tennessee after you've proven you've got some experience in the college scene, and now you're more prepared. It makes complete sense. I hate it for the high school kid because it's going to be hard to get recruited, but I'd absolutely be hitting that transfer portal.
I hate it for the small college kid or for the small college coach.
Yeah.
That's who I hate it for. I mean, if you, like you just said, if there was a kid, the football player at ETSU, offensive lineman, had a great year. Next year he's at LSU. It's like, good Lord, it's hard enough for me to go find kids to bring them here to Johnson City to play. Now if I develop one, somebody slipped through the cracks and I found him, you mean I'm going to have to lose him to some big school that's going to gobble him up?
Tyreek Key would have been the second leading scorer all time behind Larry Bird at Indiana State if he would have stayed. And he left and came here.
But if you're the small college coach and you produce enough of those good players, all of a sudden your NIL number goes way up too.
That's right. And then you can go raid. You can be the shark that goes and eats the guppies from a big school. All right. When we come back, how does Heupel's, and stick with us, I still want to do Kentucky and Vanderbilt coming up, but how does Heupel's coaching acumen stack up against the best in the business? This is one that we're going to do way too soon, but with his numbers, I don't know how we avoid it. So let's do it. Come on back on the Sports Source.
Miss an episode? Catch up at sportsource.tv or our YouTube channel.